When was the last time I cried? Oh.
Last night, because two reasons. One, my boyfriend was being a douchebag, and I had to talk to him about it today, which wasn't any better than it was last night, and it was also the fact that I was kind of grieving over a couple of my friends who passed away this year.
Oh, I think this is an easy one. I cry all the time.
Yeah, I think I was watching Queer Eye. It was an episode of Queer Eye, and every episode of Queer Eye makes me cry.
Last time I cried, when my cat had to be put down. He was sick, and there was like a cancerous lump inside of him, and they just didn't save him. So
Like proper, genuine tears. Probably. I hate to admit it, I'm not a League of Legends person, but I recently watched Arcane, and there's a few episodes and that made me tear up in that show. That's probably the last time I probably teared up. I watched that show. That's a pretty good show. I'd recommend anyone watch it. Arcane on Netflix.
So about a week after my 18th birthday, my uncle found my grandfather dead in his house when he went to visit. He had died of a heart attack, which was not fun. He never answered the door, and eventually he used his own key to get in and look around and found my granddad dead. So he had to say to his wife, take the kids home now. And my 18th had barely been a week before when I had seen him. And my grandmother, I wasn't particularly close with my grandmother. I didn't cry at her funeral. I liked her all right, but I didn't have that same connection. I was very close with my granddad, and I fucking cried my eyes out during his funeral. And I tried to hold it in, because, the usual masculine thing. No, it wasn't exactly a shock. They were both pretty old and had problems, but it was more, when the funeral, I was stoic right up until the point, and the funeral hit. And I'm standing around there, and I'm trying to be strong for my sister, who's older than me, but she was standing around bawling her eyes out. But the problem is, and I'm standing here, and I honestly think I made it worse, because she turned to me at one point and clearly started crying more. And that was the only moment that I sort of realised I'd been gripping my fist so hard I'd caused my hands to bleed. And I was slowly but surely starting to bawl my eyes out.
Actually, I haven't cried in a long time. I think it was 5 years ago. I got super mad. When you're just so mad, you just start bawling and throwing your fists. You ever done that?
It's been quite a while because I don't remember. I mean, there's like a lot of things in society, and just men aren't allowed to cry and stuff like that. And it's just, it really takes you to hurt, and like you're not allowed to show your feelings, and it really hurts, but then it's hard to put in words. It's like you have to follow it, or else the society in general is just gonna shame you like no other. That's what other people think, and it's just they're not allowed to have feelings, and it really hurts.
The last time I cried was a couple of months ago. It's because my cousin killed himself over some bullying issue at school. A bunch of kids were walking around school saying that he sexually harassed them when, God, we all knew he didn't. I was 13.
When my mother called me and she said, hey, I gotta talk to you about something, and I'd rather do it when you're home. And when I got there, my siblings were there, and it was that we had like this really close cousin in our family that we all grew up with, and he was like diagnosed with leukemia. I think that was probably like one of the worst things. Probably that's like the worst thing that I can honestly remember. Yeah, right now he's actually in recovery, and we're really hoping it like stays that way. That was probably the last time that I cried, actually. Yeah, it was actually it was a time when we thought that he wasn't actually gonna make it. So I was in the middle of having dinner with a friend, and I got a text from one of my aunts, and she said, hey, you may want to go visit him, take a plane over there to see him, because he's probably not gonna be on much longer. And I just, I just kind of like, it wasn't like an ugly crying, but it was like tears, and then it was a little hard to breathe and stuff. Pretty surreal moment. I don't know. Death just is, it's weird. You see it happen to other people, and then you never think it's going to happen to you, or like, surrounding your family, but it certainly does.
It was my birthday, so I came obviously over to my mum to see how she was doing, and I expected to hear a bark because obviously my dog's there. So I came in, opened the door, nothing. I was like, okay, sure. Open the door. It's a sliding door. Open the sliding door. I was like, Mom, where's Luna? Where the fuck did she go? I can't see her. And apparently, my mother. People came that day to look at my/her dog, our dog, quote unquote, big air quotes there, but our dog, and they took it away. They took her away to live in a new home on my birthday, and she didn't tell me shit. I came home on my birthday to her place to celebrate it there. Open the door, dog's gone, and I went home. I fell on my bed and I fucking lost my shit and I started crying really badly. I really lost it.
Last time it was probably like last week when I was in my car at my job. I cried a little bit because I was listening to a sad song, but it wasn't the sad song that was doing it. It was more of the thought of, I'm getting older. A lot of my friends are starting to spread out and I'm starting to lose a lot of them. My job isn't the greatest. I just felt sad at that moment. The song didn't help, but it was just a lot of realizations.
I think the last time, everyone cries every once in a while. You have a good cry, something happens. But I feel like the last time I really cried, like something really hurt me, was I had this girl up in, I lived with her up in Seattle for about a year. And, things were great. Things seemed good. And then I remember one day, I saw kick notification on her phone. I was like, oh, what the fuck, you got kicked? Been together a year, never heard of that. I'm a little confused. She was like, oh yeah, well, it's just for my art commissions and stuff like that. I was like, all right, whatever. Didn't give it a second thought. And then she started getting super weird with her phone and shit. Started messing with my head, So one time we're sitting there and she goes to the bathroom and something just came over me, check her phone, bro. I don't know what I did. So probably better off I was ignorant, but I fucking picked up her phone, bro. I opened it up, and right there's 30 guys she's sending nudes to, talking with. I'm like, oh shit. And then I put her phone down. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything for 2 weeks. And then I just brought it up. She got real mad at me about it. I went through her phone, but I was like, what is this though? You have any right to be mad at me, And it hurt, it made me feel betrayed. I dumped almost 365 days of my life into this woman, we're living together. And then she was like, yeah, I was selling nudes, trying to make money, I just didn't know how to tell you all this stuff, played that card. And then I was stupid and I gave her a second chance. And then things got really bad in the couple months following. We finally broke up, but here's the kicker. I was still living there, and then literally 3 days after we broke up, I'm still living there too. She goes out with her friend, and I turn over to a snap on my phone of her sucking off 2 guys at 1 a.m. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, so that, I don't know, that's that. I cried. Yeah, dude, I cried hard. That's the last time I had a really, really big cry.